Mike, blue-white games here Saturday.
Yep.
You know, I've been looking forward to this, just to see new wrinkles in offense and defense. It's all new. There's a little bit more excitement this year with what's been going on. There's a buzz in the air with Bill O'Brien being there. First of all, what are you going to be looking forward to seeing in Saturday's game?
Well,
what are you going to focus in on?
I think the thing that everybody's going to be looking at is their offense and their quarterbacks. And, you know, this is a whole new offense. It apparently is more sophisticated, more complicated, and who seems to be picking it up among the quarterbacks, because there's a lot of decision-making that goes on the quarterback. And I think in particular people are going to be looking at Paul Jones, this kid who I think is probably the most physically talented, at least in terms of throwing skills, of the three kids they have at quarterback. I'm talking about Matt McGloin and Rob Bolden. But he's had a hard time remaining academically ineligible. And if this is really a sophisticated offense, you know, people are going to naturally think, does he have the intellectual wherewithal to pick it all up?
Yes, but what's interesting about that is he graduated from high school early, the first one in his high school to ever do that. So this guy can't be too much of a...
Well, I think one of the things that Joe said about Jones pretty early on was, he was not academically prepared for college. Okay. So I think the high school situation that he was in maybe was not exactly the most academically rigorous and advanced. But here's another thing, and this is something that I'm definitely going to ask Bill O'Brien on Saturday. Every time that we've talked to him, and he's talked to us quite a bit, there's been a lot of openness with the media, talking about ask him to assess the roster or any part of the roster. He always talks completely in intangibles. They're really hard workers. They're very coachable. I enjoy being around them. And I want him to say what he thinks of them athletically. How much talent do you think you have here? Which is probably a little bit of an unfair question, because it's 100 football players. He doesn't know them all yet. But I just want to get a sense of that. The fact that he sort of scrupulously avoids talking about that makes you wonder, if you're a skeptic, is he really in the back of his mind thinking, oh, my God, we don't have a whole lot of players here? I mean, maybe not, probably not, but I'd like to hear him at least talk about that a little bit.
Boy, that's he's giving you more already than what Joe's ever given you.
Yeah, that's right. It's so different.
Yeah.
He's going to he's going to be on the sidelines calling plays for both teams in the blue-white game. As you know, he's actually going to be coaching the blue-white game. Joe was up in the radio booth during the blue-white game and held a long press conference before the game. On Saturday, it's going to be more like a regular season game. He'll come in after the game. Players will come in. So lots of changes.
You were there Friday. They had open media practice for a few minutes. I think it was supposed to be 30, but it cut a little short.
It wasn't quite.
What'd you take away from that? Any observations from that?
Well, I just think that we got to talk to a lot of the receivers and tight ends. And to sort of acknowledging, this is pretty complicated what we're doing here, and it's complicated, but you have more options, and there's a lot of decision making that goes on after the snap when the play's in motion. So that's something you really can't get much out of actually watching practice. They're just doing drills, and when they start doing the real substantial stuff, that's when they kick us out, which is somewhat understandable. I noticed that O'Brien did say something that gave you a little bit of that coaching paranoia. He said, regarding the blue-white game and how much they're going to throw out there, X and O-wise, he said, there might be 85,000 people in the stands. I don't know who those 85,000 people are. Like assuming that maybe there's Ohio State and Michigan are going to have people in the stands watching the blue-white game. So he's got a little bit of that.
Urban Meyer's been a weasel so far. I'm sure he's going to be there too. Although their game is at the same weekend. So maybe Urban Meyer will be a little bit busy.
Yeah.